Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
You are once again welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more updates, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can equally leave a comment at the comment section after watching. Your comments are most important to us. Please do leave a comment or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277 128 777. Thank you. Parliament has also been called on the 16th, which members are well represented, and it got hot on the first sitting, which I want you to join me listening to what transpired between Afenyo Markins and Atufosin, and how humbled Afenyo Markins has become as the incoming minority leader. Without much ado, join me listening to what transpired. It was very hot, very hot. Yes.
We have spent the whole day today not doing much. I don't know what will happen tomorrow. But I'll put the question. If I put the question as you have requested, I'm trying to look at your numbers. Because sometimes I have to save you from embarrassment. I have to look at your numbers and look at their numbers to see whether you are likely to win or lose. You have to adopt the business statement. I have to put the question to adopt. Yes, go on. We should check the rules.
The Speaker.
Yes.
The Speaker, the business committee report has been submitted, and issues have been raised. Some issues have been raised. Some of them legitimate with respect to the time available to the House for doing justice to some of these matters. On the other hand, Mr. Speaker, the matter being raised by the majority leader is also legitimate in the sense that if a paper is to be presented to the House and a decision is taken that no, will not allow you to introduce the paper to the House, it means that technically you are saying that you don't allow government business to come to the House. And that will be a dangerous precedent. I mean, technically. Also, for the Speaker, you're giving a very useful guidance as to going forward, what should be done. The Speaker, it is useful. However, we must also be careful. Is it the case that a Speaker would say that I will allow this government business, I will not allow this government business? So even though I see a lot of sense in what the Speaker is doing, we must also look at the technical implications. I think that we have these matters before us. Admittedly, it's not everything that we can deal with. So we adopt the report and we consider those matters that have come before us. We get to first reading is just rising and bowing, but we can't transact business on it. Like the second reading and so on and so forth. Because when you do the first reading, you now have to refer the matter to the appropriate committee to go and consider and report to the House. Do we have the luxury of time? We may not have that luxury of time, which then goes to what direction the Speaker is giving us. That let's look at all these implications. So we become very pragmatic in the consideration of these matters. So I'm saying that time certainly will not allow us to deal with all these before us. I agree. But when it is advertised for a paper to be presented and the indication is that no, we will not allow this paper to be presented, that also has its own connotation, which in my view will not be good for the image of the House. But we must be pragmatic. What can we deal with? What can we not deal with? The Speaker has offered some suggestions. Going forward, we look at what to do, what we can do, and what we cannot do. As simple as that. Which is why the leader is saying that, okay, let's adopt the report. However, we must take into consideration the various suggestions that come from the floor, that have come from the floor. Then we move on. So that is my consideration of the matter.
Yes, Honorable Adaria.
Speaker, Mr. Speaker, it is already known to us in this House that this meeting took place without the participation of our leader. That became obvious when Honorable Ahmed took the floor. He indicated that our side did not participate because they were misled regarding the timing of the meeting. This is a very serious matter. And you have given further guidance. Indeed, I think that the proper thing to do is to adjourn and direct them to go and meet again tomorrow morning, both sides, agree on a common agenda and bring back to us. Because we will not approve an agenda that is entirely orchestrated by one side. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious. He did not dispute the fact that Honorable Atto did not participate in the meeting. He did not also refute the fact that Honorable Atto asked for clarity in relation to exactly what should constitute the agenda. So clearly, this is not an agenda that was agreed upon by both sides. So he misled us, and so this House is being cajoled into accepting something that one side did not participate in deciding on. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that the best thing to do is to adjourn, direct them to go tomorrow morning, meet, and then agree on something and bring to us, informed by the debates that have taken place today, the discussions that have taken place today, and your own advice. And I heard you, Mr. Speaker, indicate that even you were not aware of the entirety of what will constitute the program. And that is why you recommended that we should stick to certain items that you think are more practical. And indeed, the great leader is agreeing that we must be very practical, that we cannot deal with this tall list of items that the majority leader is trying to impose upon us. So I urge you to adjourn and refer the matter back to the business committee, let them meet tomorrow morning, and let them bring us a practical, acceptable, realistic agenda. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, even though I allow you for purposes of education and creating public awareness as to how we do our business, so sometimes I allow these exchanges. It's important for us to note that the speakers listen to both sides of the House. And the information at the disposal of the speaker also includes the technical staff, because the clerk is the principal advisor to the speaker on practice and procedure of the House. Apart from that, there are other authorities that get in touch with the speaker. And so I use that to advise. But when a business item is admitted by the speaker, and it is passed on and processed for the consideration of the business committee, and is scheduled for the attention of the House, that item cannot just be prevented from being presented because it's not yet before the House. It's when it's presented that it becomes the property of the House. And the House now will take time to go into it, bring a report for deliberation. It's at the time of taking the decision that the House could reject or approve it or adopt the report. When I talked about the adoption of the business committee report, I did that because I'm aware that when I say it's so adopted, a member could challenge this, to use the general word, ruling. And that meant that we have to put it to a vote. And so in doing these things, that's why I was drawing your attention to the fact that I have to look at the numbers on the floor, on both sides of the house. And sometimes, as Speaker, when you think that this matter is in the interest of the nation, and you want it to go through, but you see that if you put the question, it's likely to be rejected because those against it are more than those for it, then you apply the other rules. And so sometimes I'm drawing your attention to the fact that yes, you are majority leader, you are in charge of government business, but don't imperil government business. And more so, having sat on that chair for many years, I'm aware always as a leader, you have to go back because you need the support of those in the opposition to be able to carry on government business. And so if you recall, you are not too old in the house, but at least you are not also young. There are a number of times even allowed during my tenure, the opposition members to lead the business, to carry it through. It's very, very important. It's not for the individual's glory or party glory, but the national interest. So please, I will hesitate to refer it back to the business committee to reconsider. I thought the guidance had been given, and I was proceeding because all the important items have been stated, telling the table office to put across in the order paper for tomorrow's consideration. But if you, as leader of government business, insist that we should see carry on with all, well, it's for you. Because I didn't only talk about even the challenge of time, I also talk about the season. And I'm aware that a number of your own members will not be showing up. I'm very sure about that. You can contest me on it, but I'm very sure they will not be showing up for the business of the house. Anyway, you have the last.
Mr. Speaker, the business committee meeting wasn't a one-sided meeting. Members of the NDC minority were part of the meeting, for the records. I have not misled the House into believing that the report was consensus. This report was consensus. We arrived at the items by consensus. 3, the time agreed was 10 a.m. and it is a clerk to the committee that advertised it on our platform. It was not my time of choosing where I hurriedly convened a meeting without my other colleagues. But I agree that when the meeting had closed and Dr. Forsen had come in, he had expressed his own views about some of the items, which views he expressed before you at the pre-sitting deliberations. So, Mr. Speaker, I wasn't saying anything different. My worry is about the precedents we are setting on this matter. That the matter contained in the proposal should come before us. If it comes and we deliberate and we take a decision, that at that point is before the House. But if, Mr. Speaker, at this stage, it's going to be a novel practice for the House to say that business committee meeting, because there's a disagreement, we are going to reject or take some out and amend. Mr. Speaker, as it pleases the House, you are to guide us, and I will yield to the suggestions that you want to put across. But I find it a novel practice. I find it a novel practice. And again, and finally, the suggestion that some of these items are new are completely untrue. Mr. Speaker, these items have been pending for months and years, and my colleagues know. If we may not have our members, let's wait for that day. If our members don't come, I won't put it to a vote for me to lose a question. So, Mr. Speaker, let's get to the bridge and then we'll cross it. These are items that government want to pursue. If we get there and we don't have our 138, we'll step it down. But my colleagues should proceed to oppose it when the thing comes to a vote, rather than to prevent it from being discussed. That one, I disagree. And I want Hansa to capture him as such. Mr. Speaker, having made my point, the rest lies with you. Thank you.
Anyway, honorable members, if you look at the order paper, item 10 deals with presentation of papers, which meant that there are new matters to be presented to the House. So when you say there are no new matters, it's not wholly true. And I did draw your attention to the agreements dealing with the military on behalf of the government of Ghana and the French government. That one, I had no knowledge of it, and we just seen it. And so that's French business. And it's not only one. If you go through it, these are businesses to be presented. 10, A, B, C, D. There are businesses to be presented. So please, let's stop at this. But what happened at your business committee meeting is actually not on that discussion here. I think we should leave it at that, because I usually ask for better and better particulars. Yes, please, Deputy Minority Whip.
Thank you for staying tuned. We much appreciate your time and what you are doing for us on the channel. Please keep it up and stay tuned by turning the notification bell on to keep you updated. And also to our new viewers or our new subscribers, please do so to keep you updated. Turn the notification bell on. Thank you. Stay blessed.
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.